up your engine. Today I'm at Cars and Coffee, a bunch of car guys, and they got a few tricks in their trunks. Check it out. Got a little nitrous action going here. Okay, we got a 15-pound bottle here. And when we go to the other side, puts out 1,000 horsepower. But not just any 1,000 horsepower. 1,000 horsepower to the wheels on a dyno. Not this make-believe, oh, at the flywheel it puts out. No, this puts it out the wheels. I'm gonna film the whole thing in a future video so you'll have something to look forward to. The sounds. There's nothing like a classic 70s V8. Now it does have a purple J509 cam on it. Little nice rumble to it. You don't hear those anymore. We got some serious paint wrap going on here. Look at this. It's really got some sheen to it. And no, 3M didn't pay me anything to do this at all. And don't think it's just men. We got a lady driver here. We got a nice Viper here. And it's only got 20,000 miles on it. Oh. I'm drooling. We got a supercharged Fiero. Never did a 6-cylinder engine sound this sweet. Listen. Now it's a bit different than the stock. Stock's interesting too. You see everything here at these shows. Real people with real cars. Fiero, the poor man's Porsche. Or should I say Porsche? But I'm not gonna say that because that's a bunch of baloney. Got some nice vets. There's a ZR1. The heartbeat of America. Check it out, you can balance a nickel on this baby. One of the big reasons I want the V8, smooth engine, smooth power, and lots of it. Check this out.
Shut up, I didn't know where they parked.
People have done some serious stuff, even with their Corollas here. Comes with a warning. And if you're into nicer Corollas, here's a nice one. Why, there's a Celica engine in this Corolla. That's the advantage of Toyotas. You can put lots of parts in them. You can soup them up. You can play around with them. Have some fun. And yes, a Corolla with a 6-speed standard. My kind of vehicle. He's not lying. Although you can put a sticker on anything. This is the real deal. It actually has one inside. You don't see too many of these. You're gonna see a whole bunch of this because I'm gonna make a whole video about it. Check out this Corolla. It's a dirt special. The rods, they are a-knocking. But it has been doing it for a couple of years. And it's still running. And of course there's trucks too. People can modify these F-150s as much as they want. It's making Ford a lot of money. 93% of their profit comes from these F-150s. People like them because they can go a long time. Now this one's got the V6 engine. Lots of working room. You want to put a bigger engine in? There's lots of room for that too. We even got Teslas here. Here we go. It looks naked to me. It does have a steering wheel. Thank God it has a steering wheel. I've entered the future. I don't know if I like the future or not, but we're all gonna end up there one day. Got some old classics too. Women like cars too. This is her car. Look at it. Unbelievable paint job. And she's a woman after my heart. She drives fast. How could you not with one of these? Well, that's it for now, but stay tuned. There's a lot more coming from Tennessee. And here's some bonus questions and answers. Lonnie Boy says, hey, I got questions. I got a Chevy Impala 04 3.4 V6. Will it be detrimental if I keep running with a bad cat? Can the engine run successfully long-term without the cat? Why is the price differential for OEM versus aftermarket cats so dramatic? Well, to begin with, it depends how bad a catalytic converter is. When you get a check engine light on, if you get the code for inefficient catalytic converter, that means it's running at less than 95% efficiency. I don't operate at that level for myself anymore. And I've had customers drive them years that way. I even had a customer in Houston that had that. He drove his Toyota 5 years that way. He'd reset the light before inspection and then he'd get it to pass. A year after that, he brought it in. He said, can you reset it? I looked, doesn't need resetting. Now it says it works okay. After all those years, It even stopped working to put the light on. It was more than 95% efficiency. So, depends how bad. If they're all clogged up, your temperature gauge runs higher, you can't accelerate, you go to the exhaust and it's going because it can't breathe out, you have to change it. Now you say, how can it run long term without the cat? The only thing a catalytic converter does is stop pollution and burn hydrocarbons that aren't burned in your engine. If you take the cat off, they can run forever. It has nothing to do with here, where I'm in Clarksville. A lot of guys take them off, there's no inspection. A lot of guys straight pipe their cars, and it doesn't affect the running of it. And I'll check engine lights will come on because the computer will know it's gone by the feedback it gets. But, if you live in an area they don't inspect, it doesn't really matter. Now, the reason that the OEM ones cost more is because they're OEM, they're marking them up, the dealer makes a profit selling them to you. The aftermarket ones sometimes have a little bit less precious metals in them. Areas like California, you got to use the OEM, it's law, because a lot of times they won't mesh. And on certain cars, like take Infinities, I've had customers when I was in Houston try to buy the aftermarket cats on an Infinity, and they got 2 cats, and they'd still trip the code. And then they'd go buy the OEM one, I'd put them on, and they'd stop tripping the code. So they are a little bit different inside. But if you live in an area where they don't check them out, it doesn't matter. If it runs okay, like I say, it doesn't overheat and it goes fast and doesn't back down. If it's working at, let's say, 94% efficiency, it'll still run forever that way. That's just the way things are. Code just comes up when it's less than 95% efficiency, and cars can work pretty good even at 92 or 90% efficiency. Really. Roy Hines says, Scotty, does Mazda CX-5 2.5 liter 2016 have the automatic transmission made by Mazda or Jatco still in play? Thank you. No, it's made by Mazda. Mazda actually has some very good engineers, and to that extent, they now have a good relationship going with Toyota. They got a factory in Alabama, I believe they just opened up, that makes Mazdas and Toyotas in the same assembly line. So they're sharing a lot of stuff. Mazda now does their own transmissions. They're not messing around with the Jatco ones, which is a smart thing, because over history, you go back decades, Mazda's had horrible automatic transmissions at Jatco. They're absolute garbage wagons. I tell people, don't buy one of those. The automatic transmission, when it breaks, is going to cost you a fortune. But it's not the case anymore. I have driven 2016s that customers had 190,000, and the tranny was still shifting good, and it didn't do anything except be serviced every once in a while with new fluid. So yeah, it's a big difference. It's the older ones. Back in the 80s, 90s, they were horrific. But they're not that way anyway. The companies learned a lot, and they make a lot better vehicles than they used to. There's no arguing that. Well, the car thieves are at it again. Now it turns out that they can have GPS scramblers. So if they steal your car, it scrambles the signal so you don't know where the car is. Now you can still see some things of what's happening. There was a guy in San Antonio that had his fancy Ford truck stolen. It was one of those Shelby trucks, a real rare one. He saw that his car was being filled up at a gas station, and also that the mileage was going up as the guy was driving the car, but he had no idea what it was because the thieves had a GPS scrambler, so it scrambled the signal and nobody knew where he was. Now, if you get caught with a GPS scrambler, it's a $100,000 fine by the government, and you can spend some years in jail too. So it's not a legal thing, obviously. As usual, the thieves have figured a way to kind of bypass. Oh, well, I'll just check to see where my truck is. Well, they can't because they're scrambling the thing. GPS company in Texas says, what you want to do is, to try to avoid this problem, is you want to have a kill system put on your vehicle too, so that it's not just a GPS, but there's a kill, and they can't turn that off. So if they did steal your vehicle, you could push the kill, and then once they shut it off, they wouldn't be able to start it again. So if they stop like this guy did, he was on his way to Mexico from San Antonio with the guy's truck. If he would have had the stop feature activated, as soon as they shut it off and fill it up the gas tank, it wouldn't have started up again, and you get it back better that way. So the thieves are using the GPS technology against us now. They're scrambling it so you can't tell where it is if they take it. So if you're really worried about getting your vehicle stolen, you better put one of those kill systems on it so you could activate that. There's no story on how they stole the truck in the first place. Obviously, these were high-tech thieves. They have a GPS scrambler. They obviously had some kind of a machine that they could start the truck with without a key. This is why I tell people it's not a good idea to have a vehicle with keyless ignition because they're easier to steal. They don't need a key. Old 2007 Matrix is like that. It's a mobilizer key. You got to have the key to turn it, but there's also a chip in it, so it'll let it start. So if somebody did copy the key, they could get in your vehicle and turn the key, but the car wouldn't start. That, to me, is a better system than this keyless stuff, which allows people to steal your stuff. If it wasn't all computerized, they still need a key and they couldn't steal it. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, Remember to ring that bell.